Well, since there's 5 of you guys on the phone, I think it's rude to wait for people who are late to the party, right? So I don't want to make you wait any longer. Thank you for joining us. I know there's a small group of you, but we are excited to have our first kind of annual meeting Q&A session. I don't know if we've had them before, but this is my first one anyway. I'm Charity Quick. I'm BMES's executive director. I've been here for about 10 months, so I'm relatively new. So if I haven't met you yet, which I'm sure I haven't, I look forward to meeting you at our annual meeting in Orlando. I hope you're here because you're planning to join us in person. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our annual meeting, just so you know, to set the stage. So our 2021 annual meeting will be in Orlando, October 6th to the 9th at the Marriott World Center. So it's not going to be at Convention Center slash different hotel properties. We're all going to be contained in one place at the Marriott World Center. The meeting itself is going to be a hybrid, which is going to have a mix of an in-person and a virtual component. Right now, we are still following COVID precautions and all CDC guidelines. And if you have additional questions about that, you can certainly ask those. Be happy to talk you through them. And as you probably all know, those are moving targets. They continue to change and get updated. So we follow those very closely. And I just want to kind of set the stage of how to work here. And also I just skipped over the virtual component, and the virtual component is about 2 to 4 hours of sessions and talks that are live streamed. And I have a person on the phone here with us, so I'm going to introduce in a second, and if you want to talk through that a little bit, we can do that too. If you have a question, please raise your hand or put it in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer it. That's why we're here. Please stick to questions related to the annual meeting, though. This is what we're prepared for, to talk to you about the annual meeting, and the group of people I have assembled here are those that are responsible for the annual meeting, so that we can talk best to it. But if you get outside that box, it might be difficult for us to answer that. So I'd like you to kind of stick to annual meeting questions. So let me introduce the rest of the folks here, which are BMES staff. I have Jen Noveski. Raise your hand, Jen. She's our managing director, and she's responsible for the annual meeting experience. Michelle Siapa, raise your hand, Michelle. She's the director of development and programs, and Michelle is responsible for the program. So if you have burning questions about the program, Michelle's your person. Taylor McCarthy. Taylor, raise your hand.
Hi.
She's the director of events, and Taylor's responsible for our annual meeting logistics, registration, exhibits, sponsorship, and offsite events, which means that the meeting itself, Taylor's going to be super busy. You might be able to catch her running by, but you'll find her eventually. And then, of course, Ryan Green is the manager of student, early career, and corporate programs, and she is responsible for all the student programming and the student design competition. So you can't see her face, but you can see her nice little slide she's got up. So that's really I just wanted to do a brief intro of the annual meeting, so we're kind of all on the same level playing field. But at this point, I'd be happy to open it up to questions from everybody.
It looks like
I see it right there. Can you share the breakdown of virtual versus in-person attendees? Charlotte, I'm going to ask you to further clarify your question. Is that share breakdown of what we expect, the breakdown of content? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by your question. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just want to make sure we answer it completely and correctly.
And while she's typing that up, we also got 2 other questions.
Okay.
The first is, who is allowed to attend the in-person meeting and how is it determined?
So who is allowed to attend? Well, our annual meeting is open, but right now, because of COVID restrictions, the annual meeting will have a cap. At this point, we're still anticipating to cap it. And the exact number is right around just shy of 4,000, am I correct, Jen? Live in person. So of course, anybody that submitted an abstract with an approved abstract, those folks are going to be able to register for the meeting. But if registration opens and you register and there is a seat, that seat would be yours. So it's not that we're going to disallow certain people. It's an open and fair process for people to register for the meeting. It's on a first come, first served basis. So I hope I answered that one for you.
And a
We will
follow-up
probably-
to that, I'm sorry, Taylor, go
Oh, I
ahead.
was going to say, and we will have a wait list for registration too. You know, obviously the CDC guidelines and recommendations for gatherings, we're keeping a close eye on that, but that's changing, you know, rapidly. And we anticipate that we'll be able to increase those numbers as we get a bit closer. So, you know, we're hoping that we won't have to tell people no, but it is a first come, first serve basis. So when we open in early July, just be sure to sign up sooner than later.
The follow-up question was, do you expect most people to attend in person or virtually?
Well, you know, I'm going to tag team on Charlotte's response here. People are tired of virtual. So we do expect people to want to come in person. As you all hopefully know, last year's annual meeting was completely virtual, 100%. I know people are tired of virtual meetings just in general. So like we said, the questions answered, we have a cap on it. When that cap is full, at this point, because of CDC guidelines, we're not changing that cap. Is there a possibility to do that? Maybe slightly more. I don't know the answer to the question right now, but we do expect to see, I think it's about, I think budget-wise, we had about 800 people that we said would attend virtually, and close to that 4,000 mark that would attend in person. So it's definitely skewed to the in-person side of the coin.
Just to tag off of that, Charity, to give a little bit of a breakdown for virtual versus in-person, all in-person attendees will have access to the virtual event platform. The virtual event platform itself will remain open 30 days after the in-person event. So as an exhibitor and an attendee, you will have access to both in-person and virtual attendees if that correlates there. So you're not limited you know, to just in person or just virtual. If you're in person, you can chat with people who are there and chat with people who are, you know, unable to travel for whatever reason.
The next question was, what is the normal in-person capacity? I'll take it if nobody else minds. For 2019, we were just under about 6,000 attendees. So we stay an average around 5,000 to 6,000 attendees for the last few years of our in-person meeting. So that's the normal in-person capacity. So we're a couple of thousand below that, but as Taylor mentioned, we fully expect those limits to go up as October nears. The next question is, what do the different tracks do at the BMES conference? There are so many I'm interested in, so I want to ensure that I can see presentations from each one. I'll leave that to Michelle.
Sure, yes. So the different tracks are just ways to categorize the, you know, biomedical engineering into the different tracks, but you will certainly have an opportunity to attend different sessions across tracks. It's just a way to organize the content essentially, but it's not, there will not be just all one track on one day and all another track on another day. They will be mixed in throughout the concurrent platform sessions on each day of the meeting. And so we don't have overlap to where you can't attend different tracks. You'll be able to do that and mix and match and go to what your interest, because we know a lot of people are interested in a variety of topic areas in BME. So there won't be limitations there. You can go to different things without having too much overlap there.
Great. Next question. Other than the number of attendees, what other things may be different in Orlando than in Philly? I can help answer. Okay. Taylor, do you want to? Taylor and Charity weren't in Philly, so I feel like it's unfair to ask them to answer those questions. But if you wanted to start it, Taylor, you can start it.
Oh, sure. Well, I feel like this might be taking Jen's thunder a little bit because she's, you know, working a lot on the experience, but we are doing a lot of things to really enhance the overall experience for our attendees. From my perspective, that starts with registration. So we do have a new registration system going into this year. So when you check in on site, you'll be able to scan your confirmation email and print your badge without having to wait in long lines. Those sorts of things, just to really, you know, make it more user-friendly. But we have a lot of other exciting things happening, like our Bash location is going to be at Islands of Adventure. So more coming on that soon, but just a little tidbit for you all that are able to join us today. But like Jen had said, I have not been in person. I'm really looking forward to it. So her and Michelle, are a little bit more in tune with what has been done previously.
So I'll start off, Michelle, and then you can interject. So it starts with our welcome reception. We're doing the welcome reception in the hall this year to give some more traffic and face time for our exhibitors who are going to be with us in person. So we're switching that out. We're also changing up Saturday's programming. Saturday used to be undergraduate programming, student programming, and we're really mixing that into the program throughout the 4 days of the meeting. And so that'll be a little different. We'll go a little longer as well on Saturday. So it'll be a full day, a full meeting experience. We'll have certain things, as we mentioned, live streamed into the virtual platform. So you might go into some session rooms and see some of the equipment set up for that. So that might be a little different. The exhibit hall will be different. We will have one-way signage in the exhibit hall, really sticking to the CDC guidelines as they are right now. So we've spread out refreshment breaks throughout the hall. The BMES booth, we will not have puppies and kittens this year. That's another thing that'll be different than in Philly, but we will have some exciting stuff for you. And that'll be outside of the exhibit hall by registration. So those are like the stark things that come to my mind. I don't know if I missed anything, Michelle.
I think that covers most of it, because I was going to say the hybrid piece of it, really having that virtual component as well as in person, which we haven't done as much before. We've had some select sessions in the past that were recorded and available on demand, but really making that hybrid component more available and more prominent.
If you have follow-ups to that, we're happy to answer them. Next question is, are there any opportunities for students to present projects or info outside of abstracts?
That ties to, I think, the student and early career sessions as well. So that the abstract driven and posters also, abstract driven sessions and posters are the two big opportunities for undergrads to or for students to participate. And then Brian Green, who's managing the student and early career, there are some opportunities there that she organizes those sessions to participate in some of those sessions, which are planned outside of the abstract driven sessions. I don't know if there's anything specific to tie into there, if anybody else has any comments on it.
I mean, maybe talk about, I guess, REUs, is that maybe what this question pertains to? Okay.
Those are abstract driven though, so that wouldn't be outside of the abstract system.
To expand a little bit on that, Michelle, we do have a high school poster presentation competition going on for high school students. We also have the Medtronic design competition happening, and that's open to any collegiate or grad student as well as postdoc student. And then we have a couple of networking opportunities where you can network and share your research in a sort of or more organic fashion. And those are the really three big non-abstract or REU-driven research opportunities.
A follow-up question, are you saying that undergrads will be presenting in person if they choose on Thursday and Friday in addition to Saturday?
That's correct. We are integrating it into the program instead of just concentrating on Saturday as it has been in the past. We're integrating those across Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Next question, how are the track chairs determined?
They are selected with the meeting chairs, the co-chairs for the annual meeting are tap into their expertise and resources across the different tracks, and they reach out to select the track chairs based on their experience with the meeting. If they've been session chairs in the past, moderators for sessions, had some other involvement with the meeting, and then just as far as trying to get across different, different regions of the country, try to get really some diversity into the group to make sure that different labs are being represented. People from industry as well as academia are being accessed for the track chair positions, but it's primarily the meeting chairs that go and select them. Going forward, we had talked about some other ways to make it a more formalized program, but we hadn't ironed anything out yet. But as of now, that's the way it's managed, selected.
Next question, how do you submit a poster? Is it too late to submit a poster? Are posters related only to design, or could they be research?
Submitting a poster is through the abstract, the general abstract site that has closed already. But we're talking about doing opening the REUs, the summer research for undergraduates that will open up in July. That's another opportunity if you're an undergraduate who's doing summer research to submit for a poster. And then we are talking through doing late breaking for those that have not had the chance to finish their research, and we'll also have another opportunity later in the summer in July to go ahead and still submit for a poster or an oral presentation.
And we're out of questions. If any, oh, I lie. Will those who submitted abstracts, undergraduates and graduates, be notified if their abstract has been accepted?
Yes, if you're specifically talking about for anyone who submitted as an undergrad or grad to the general scientific abstract submissions that closed in May, those will be notified by the end of July, by July 29th. And then if you are going to be submitting in for the summer research, the REUs in July, those notifications go out by August 19th. So there's a little bit later into the summer.
And now we are formally out of questions. If you have additional ones, we have the time. We're happy to answer them. We wanted this to be an open forum so we can answer anything that you may have. Do you register and pay for all days? Yes, for this year, we have to, because we're limiting, I'm sorry, Taylor, if I took the words out of your mouth.
Go for it.
Because we have to limit capacity this year. Yes, we don't have single day, just because, again, we have to have a head count for all the days. So this year we will only have a full meeting registration and the virtual meeting registration. And those prices also are on the website, as well as the outline of the program as well. So I'll put, or if Ryan, you can put the link to the website for the annual meeting in the chat. People can access that. Another question, I have heard that you can volunteer to reduce price on admission. Is this the case?
So we have had a volunteer program in the past, and we are currently taking a look at how that is organized and how we can, make it a more, I guess, efficient program on our end and for our attendees moving forward. We are outlining that right now. So just to be short and sweet, there will be opportunities for volunteers. Just keep an eye out for an official application to come out on that. We are a bit limited with the numbers that we're able to accept this year for volunteers because of the capacity issues. But yes, there will be opportunities for that. And Annika, if you want to send me an email, it's in the chat box. I'd be happy to send you that application once it becomes available.
I also saw Charlotte still had part of a question. I don't know if we got to it about, do we know how many students are coming in person versus virtual? And we don't have that information yet to know. We typically have more students in general coming to present at the meeting. So I would assume that there would be more in person than virtual. Also, given the, what Charity said in the beginning for kind of the ratio of what we were thinking. But of course, we just don't have those numbers until we kind of see how everything plays out and how when abstracts are accepted and all of that comes into play.
We're trying to polish off those crystal walls really well, but we just can't see into the future as clearly as we want to.
Any
Charlotte.
other questions? Oh, they love your background, Taylor. There you go.
Thank you. We're going to the happiest place on earth.
Did you get permission to use that, by the way? Just kidding.
I didn't. Don't report me.
To be fair and transparent. Do we obtain permission from Walt Disney World to use their logo, to use an image? Any last questions? As Jen pointed out, we don't want to rush you. We're here. We want to make sure you get all of your questions answered. But if you don't have any more, I know you enjoy looking at our lovely faces, but I'm sure you also have plenty of things to do. So I'll give it 1 minute for additional questions. And if there are no more, we hope we convinced you to come in person to our annual meeting in Orlando. You can meet all of us in person. We are excited about having a hybrid meeting, and certainly the on-site portion of it is going to be a really exciting meeting. Lots of changes maybe we didn't cover here, but it'll look different. It's going to look like a different meeting. So we're excited to be able to do that in 2021. So if you don't have anything additional, it doesn't look like it, I want to wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. If you're a BMES member, and I believe you are, thank you for that. We really appreciate you being a member. We really appreciate you supporting BMES. And you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.
And feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions at any time. You have our email addresses now.
Absolutely. Please reach out. We are available to you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you.
Bye.